Welcome to the App or Not to App podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Callahan, where I talk about why apps are essential to your business success. I love to give you tips, strategies, and introduce you to people who have achieved success and are out there in the world doing it. And today I'm bringing you Luke Nesler. Luke is the CEO of Impakt Media, and they focus on increasing leads, sales, and brand awareness. He has a passion for marketing, branding, and helping others. His company helps businesses with personal branding, social media marketing, strategy, sales training. He has two podcasts, Attention Equals Dollars and The Social Wrap. And I think he's doing a show now, right? What's your show called, Luke?
The Social Wrap. Not the Social Wrap. Sorry, Inside Impact.
Inside Impact. Yeah.
Yep.
So I love him, man. He gives straight up advice. He's positive. He likes to teach people. If you're looking for someone interesting to follow on Instagram, check out Luke. He's got some interesting takes in the daily feed, as well as he's really doing some cool marketing as well. So welcome to the show, Luke.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words, and thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, man. Likewise. And so the topic for today, everybody, is you need to start building your brand on social media today. And I know my show is focused on apps. And so I always say, if you're going to launch an app, you need to get a social following and branding before you launch the app. And but just more in general, when we talk about business, even if you're just an employee or a regular person, you need a brand on social media. And so, Luke, give everybody an idea of kind of what your business is about, what you're doing with social.
Yeah, absolutely. So my company, it's pretty simple what we do for our clients. We help them get attention on social media. And then the most important thing is, how do you turn that like into a customer? How do you turn that exposure into revenue? And that's what we do. So we leverage targeted social media advertising on any of the platforms you can think of, anything from Pinterest to LinkedIn to YouTube, Instagram. Whatever platform, whatever channel is right for the clients, we run their targeted advertising campaigns on there to do two things: help them get exposure on their brand, build that brand awareness, and then through a process, turn that exposure, turn that awareness into leads or sales for their business.
Yeah, that's great. And I know you work with some big brands, and you kind of started out in the motocross industry. What kind of brands, names can you drop on us today of people you're helping out?
Yeah, so we do a lot of work in the real estate business. We have realtors, brokers, agents across the country that we work with. We just got a new business, our new company, new client that we're working with out of Boca Raton, Florida. So we're excited about that. But some of the big brands that everybody would recognize: NBC Sports as a client, Nissan Corporate for commercial vehicles as a client, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross for any of the motorcycle dirt bike racing enthusiasts like myself out there. You definitely recognize that name. But we help these big brands that have built these big organizations off of old school, last generation media. What we found is a lot of them are confused, just as confused as maybe some of them watching today, of what to do. How do I use Facebook? What's an Instagram story ads? So what we do is we come in and we help them generate revenue on those various social media platforms.
Cool. And you touched on something just a minute there. I want you to expand on it for people, because I think it's important. So real estate, it's kind of an old school, let me take a picture of myself and put it in a booklet or something like that. Like, if you're a new agent, right, the one thing you need is leads. You need that phone ring. And so what's some of the things you're telling people in that space to do right now?
Yeah, and really it's the same in a lot of the different niches, but we've had a lot of success and enjoy working in real estate. So even if you're not a realtor, what I'm saying is going to apply to you.
Yeah.
The first thing is you have to set yourself apart from everybody else. So the town that we're located in the greater Pittsburgh area, there's over 300 realtors in this town. So how on earth are you going to set yourself apart from them so that when me or my wife or my family or my friends go to buy a house, they think of you as the expert in real estate? A lot of times people are doing the same thing: Facebook Lives, posting their listings on Facebook, or maybe not even that. They're just posting it in newspaper ads, things like that. So the first thing we do is get brand awareness on our realtors, and most importantly, position them as the expert of that town. If it's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we position them as the expert. They know where the best school districts are. They know where the hole-in-the-wall restaurants are. If you want your kid to be close to this church and this school, this is where you want to live. So we help them formulate a plan of what content to produce, and then we help them get exposure on that. And then we take that exposure and we turn that into qualified leads, people in the market to buy, people in the market to sell, somebody that just got approved for a mortgage. Those are the folks that we're hitting with call to action advertisements after you're already looked at as the expert of that town and the real estate expert of that town.
Right. And when we talk about the expert or being the expert in your field, whatever that is, one of the main things, obviously, we're going to do some marketing and things like that. That's what you do. But the main thing we're talking about here is video marketing, right? Is actually putting yourself out there on video as an expert in front of people. And, I know that's something I've been doing for the last, about a year now. You're around maybe a lot longer than me, quite a bit longer than me. But what inspired you to start making videos as opposed to like writing a blog?
Yeah, man, it's interesting. I've always had this love affair with video, even when I was a kid. I grew up racing BMX, mountain bikes, and motorcycles, and I realized I wasn't going to be a pro, but I liked to create those action sport movies that I would watch on DVD or VHS back in the day. So I picked up a camera because of that, and then I realized I really liked to create those videos. Then I realized I like to be that guy that's on air. So from the time I used to run the only BMX racetrack in my state, and I would always do these little homemade videos to where it was like, the local ESPN, and I'd be the sports anchor and I'd interview the riders and things like that. That led to a career in TV. I worked at a CBS affiliate when I was in college. And they fired one of their sports anchors one day, and I'm a 18, 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid, and they say, do you want to be on air to do the sports broadcast? And I think they were kidding, but I was like, absolutely, I'll do it. So I'm different than a lot of people, man. I have to really coach and convince a lot of my clients to be on camera. I've always wanted to be on camera because that's the person that people are paying attention to. I've always had this thing to where I want to be famous. I want to be looked at. I want to be respected. I want people to know who I am. And I thought being on camera was the fastest way to it. So, and then it just so happened to work out that the content that works the best on social media today, that's going to help you sell the most and get the most return on investment, is video. So it's just played very nicely to the strengths that I've always had.
Yeah, it really does. And it's something I found a lot of benefit to people actually seeing. Like what I learned is people really didn't know what I did. And then when I started telling them, like that led to like increased leads and, ultimately sales. How do you deal with, or what are there just certain people you can never get to go on and put themselves on video and you just give up on them, or do you?
I don't want to say give up, but there definitely have been folks that they overthink things, man. They care more about what others might think of them. If they start to put themselves out there, they care more about that than actually being known and being successful. So they let that fear of judgment keep them from doing the one thing that is without a doubt going to get them more exposure than anything else. That newspaper ad, that radio ad, that TV ad is not going to blow your business up in 2018 and beyond like it did in 2008. There are people that they're not a good fit, and generally we don't work with those folks. We have a process, man. We don't just work with anybody with a budget and a heartbeat. We do a discovery meeting with them. We find out, are they willing to play ball and play by the rules that we set, because we know what it's going to take to be successful in this realm. And if they don't want to be on camera, if they refuse to do that type of work, they're probably not a good fit to be a client of ours.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, that's important to have the right fit in everything you do. It's like a lot of people come to me with app ideas.
Absolutely.
And I send them away. Critical. I'm like, you don't need an app. You know what I mean? You got money, but why would I want to just take your money? It's not going to be anything for you.
Yeah, you get it. Everybody in the world thinks that they need an app, and maybe some people do, maybe some people don't. So I'm sure it's very similar to what you see as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about some more stuff. So what advice could you give about the importance of building a brand and having a brand presence? Like just generally.
Yeah, it's everything, and it's more important today than it ever has been in the past, to where, brands are not just Apple and BMW. Jeremy Callahan is a brand, Luke Nesler is a brand. Every one of my employees And that's important. You don't just have to be the entrepreneur. All the employees are a brand. And it's what people think when they hear your name. It's, do people think of you when they need your product or your service? If you don't come to mind first, you don't have a brand presence. People aren't thinking of you. So a brand is really, people, it's become a buzzword. Really, a brand is your reputation. It's, do people think of you, and what do they think of when they hear your name? And it's as Matt Monero would say, it's mission critical. If you want to be successful, if I don't know you, or if I do know you and I think you're an asshole and I don't like you, or I don't think that you're professional because everything that I see online is you complaining about politics or how drunk you got last weekend, or, you know, you're on another vacation, I'm not probably going to hire you to be my financial advisor or whatever it is that you do. So it's very important. I think really when everybody became a brand is when social media came about, because now you're in the public eye at all times, unless you're not on social media, which then nobody knows you and you're irrelevant. So it's important, man, because you can have a great brand, or you can have a brand that people hate and or people that people don't know. So it's very important to pick and choose what you're going after.
Yeah, man. I was advising this guy. He's graduating from USC last week, and he wants to get into a certain field, but it's the chicken and the egg. He has no experience, but nobody wants to hire you unless you have experience. So how do you get it?
Right.
And I was telling him, I'm like, dude, but he wants to be the expert. You know, I want to be the expert in user interface design. He was saying, and I said, well, why don't you start making videos if you want to be an expert? And he goes, I said, or when you apply for a job, send a video instead of, you know, just a resume. And he goes, wow, that would really make me stand out. And I was like, exactly. You're going to stand out just by, you know, putting yourself out there.
Man, that one tip, I think people look for that big flashing site, that big flashing sign that is, do this and this helps you build your brand. But what you don't understand is little moves like what you just said, sending a video in the resume rather than just a written. Man, I do that all the time in the sales situation. I got people that are unresponsive, or I can't get them to respond to me to set up a meeting, and I shoot a video text message. I send it to them in a text or an email or something like, and 95% of the time they respond. And every single time when they respond, they say, that's the craziest thing ever. I've got a recording of somebody in real estate that called me back and said, who does that? Who sends a video message? That's brand. That guy now thinks of me as somebody that does things a little bit differently, that understands how to leverage social media to slide into his inbox. And ultimately, oh, maybe he can help me do the same for my clientele.
I think it's just important that everybody, you know, is doing this, whether they're employees, whether you're, you know, a big brand. I think it's important that you're out there doing it. Luke, where do you get started? Where do you have, like, if you bring a client on or you start just talking with somebody, how do you get them started, you know, in building a brand online, an online presence?
Here's the interesting sauce that I use, these secret set of tools that we use. Man, I use the same ads manager in Facebook that everybody else on planet Earth has access to. It's just, the difference is if we're all going to buy the same set of golf clubs as Tiger Woods, it doesn't mean that we're going to be able to hit him as well. So the first thing is understanding you just got to get started, because the tool is there. You know what needs to be done. It's Facebook. Whether you like it or not, that's where your customers are at. Or maybe it's Instagram. So it's getting on there and understanding that I've got the tools. Now, what do I say? What you're going to say is things that provide value. A good place to start is write down the top 10 most frequently asked questions that you get asked on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, and then answer those. Answer them in written form. Answer them in a video, a recorded video. Answer them on a Facebook Live and do Q&A. It's providing value rather than pitching and selling your product. Once you're consistent and you're putting that type of content out, the next step is to blow up that exposure and reach people that don't immediately know who you are, your immediate Facebook friends. So the way you're going to do that is targeted advertising. And, you know, there's training tools. We have one, Impakt Marketing Academy. You can go on YouTube and learn how to do this stuff. Or if you're somebody that already spends money on advertising, you probably want to hire an expert to do this as well. And that's when you would call a company like myself, or there's, you know, other companies out there that do similar things.
Cool. So you had mentioned something there I wanted to kind of expand on a little bit. Like, I'm seeing all these really cool people that are doing stuff in the Instagram feed up at the top. They're running kind of ads, the swipe up ads, some of the different things that are going on.
Yeah, those are huge, man.
Yeah, and I know some of the people on your team, a couple of the girls are using maybe like Adobe Spark or something like that. I saw them create a quick video. I don't know where I saw it. It was on your channel or something, but the importance, I think, of having like, like a coach, not even a coach, but just like somebody you're leaning on for this, like the commitment's so much higher when I'm trying to create everything myself as opposed to using someone like you. So what can you tell the listeners today about kind of like those ads and kind of the results you're seeing in the Instagram video ads here is what I'm asking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, first off, it's a matter of, you got to understand that where we as a consumer, where we pay attention, it changes. So Instagram stories weren't there 24 months ago, but now not only are they there, an Instagram story, which like you said, it's the little 24-hour videos that are at the very top of Instagram, those are more popular and more consumed by the Instagram feed, what's actually in the feed where you're swiping down. So we have a client that increased their sales by 21% in 60 days. They cut their budget more than in half. They cut 70% of their budget from last year out. They allocated all of what they had remaining this year. They allocated it to us. We ran Facebook ads and we ran Instagram story ads. And those Instagram story ads were the driving force behind a 21% increase in sales. Now, this was a ski resort client. So it's not just, the little, quilt shop next door or the cupcake shop downtown. It was a very big business that was using this and seeing results from it. So if they saw results from it, you absolutely can too. And here's why. It's super simple. It's where people are paying attention on Instagram more than the Instagram feed. There's so much stuff in my Instagram feed right now that I really pick and choose what I want to see up top. And I can place my ads directly in your line of sight so that I know you're going to see it. And then you can swipe up, takes you out of Instagram, takes you to where I want you to go. And then that's how you're going to start to drive that traffic to your site or to your buy page or whatever it is.
And are you also, so all my friends are up in the top, right? And I'm scrolling through them, but always after I go through the first one, it's always an ad after that. Are you doing anything running those ads right there in the top as well?
Yeah, so those are called Instagram story ads. Exactly. Okay. So there might be one after the first friend that you look at, then you might punch through 5-6 people, and then there's another one from a different brand. So those are Instagram story ads. They're created differently. You have to really know what's going to grab their attention. So bright colors, things that look different. We use a lot of really simple video animation that it works really well because I'm going through and I'm seeing your video, my friend's video, my sister's video, my wife's video. Then all of a sudden I see this motion video animation that pops up and it grabs my attention because it's different than the first 5 things I looked at. So little things that you can do that make your ad really pop off the screen, because all you got to do is get their attention. And it takes less than a second for them to say, I'm not interested, and they keep going. So what can you do to get my attention in the first couple of seconds? Make it bright, make it loud, make it vibrant, make it stand out.
Yeah, your ad got my attention the other day because it was actually an ad, and I follow you. And so all of a sudden, there you were. I was like, wait a second, this is an ad running. Right. It's a little different. But no, I like those. And I like the stories, the story ads. And then the other thing I'm seeing is in line, I'm starting to see people use video once you scroll down kind of in their feed, they're actually using videos as well. And some of those have captions on them. So I think those 3 things are catching my eye the most right now. Cool. So
absolutely.
How do you see like things shaping up, kind of moving forward, maybe a year out, if you have a crystal ball? Do you think those Instagram stories are going to get less views? Do you see something else up and coming? You got anything hot that you're kind of keeping your eye on?
Yeah, I think Facebook and Instagram, obviously owned by the same. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Those 2 platforms are going to evolve the most. They're going to be the leaders. I mean, obviously, it's been quite a while since we've seen something come out of nowhere and climb up among the ranks of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's the technology is so far ahead right now that when something does start to make noise, Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat, they'll buy these platforms up. So I think where it's going isn't necessarily what's next as far as the social media platform. It's understanding that Facebook wants you to stay on Facebook. Instagram wants you to stay on Instagram. So some of you might have seen this already. Some of you might not because it's a slow rollout. But within the next 6 months, you're going to be able to buy that outfit that you see on that attractive girl or that attractive guy. If you like it and you're like, damn, I want to look like that, or I like those shoes, or I like that hat, you're going to be able to click on the outfit that I'm wearing. So literally I can click on that shirt Jeremy's wearing in this screen. It's going to pop up and tell me that it's a $47 shirt from this brand. And then I'm going to be able to buy it directly off Instagram. That's available now. Same thing within Facebook. You're going to be able to buy any of the stuff that you're buying on my website. You're going to be able to buy it directly in Facebook. And again, that is active right now. But do you remember when AOL was big? Yeah. I thought AOL was the internet. And the reason I thought AOL was the internet was because I never left AOL. I did everything. I got my news. I got my chatting with friends. Right. Anything that was available at that time, I did it on AOL. And it was just a website. It was just a platform. That's what Facebook is becoming. So landing pages becoming less and less effective. Facebook doesn't want you to leave Facebook to go opt in on a ClickFunnels page. They want you to stay on Facebook. So Facebook lead ads, it's a specific type of an advertisement to generate leads. And it is the alternative of clicking on an ad and going to my site and converting as a lead there. It's staying on Facebook. And it's saying, here's my name, phone number, and email with a click of a button. Those are becoming really effective. So the big changes are going to be buying right from the social media platform, opting in right from the social media platform. Those are the big ones.
And I'm glad you said that. And I want to, make sure everybody really hears that clearly right there is that, one of the things that in what Luke said was buying something directly from an app. Okay. And the reason I want to say it's important because we've been doing this work with Europe has this thing coming out. It's called GDRP, General Data Protection Requirements. And what that means is that you can get somebody's email, but then you can't email them. So like if you think about how everything's set up now, it's you click on an ad, you give me an email, so I give you a free product, and then you're in my cycle and I email, and then eventually you buy. Last night I was buying a pizza from Roundtable, and I was like, why do I have to put in my email to buy a damn pizza? I just want to buy the pizza. How do we go from me clicking buy a pizza to buying a pizza without having to give you all my information? Okay, my address, but that's about it. That's all I need for that, right? Cool.
Exactly.
So when it comes to hiring experts, one of the things that I like to do is hire people. Back in my early days, it was kind of like learn and figure it out myself. And I know you have a lot of content out there, so anybody could probably go on and learn what you're talking about and some of the best practices and stuff like that. You and I have a common company that we've hired together. Talk about, if I come in and I hire you, the importance of just working with somebody and kind of the accountability you're going to hold me in my business to.
Yeah, so we provide more of a done-for-you solution. So when somebody hires us to coach them, they're really opting into our training product, our online course. When somebody hires us to provide them the service that's our bread and butter, it's really a done-for-you solution. But the big thing is we hold ourselves accountable to the results that you're going after. So before we ever sign a contract, we figure out what goals are important to you. I need to generate, 75 leads a month. I need to take my sales from, 150,000 a month to 450,000, whatever it is. And then we track and measure what we've done and how successful our campaign is for your company. And we use that as the North Star, the kind of the carrot in front of our face of, are we going in the right direction? We don't measure off of, hey, you got this many views and this many clicks. It's, if you want leads, how many leads did we get you from those views and those clicks? And really, it's just a matter of continuing to check in with the client, over communicating with them, letting them know what's working, what's not, what we're doing to optimize the campaign. And then also some things that you can be doing in addition to what we're doing for you on social to really get your brand out there. Should you be doing some billboard advertising in your local town? It's a good idea for some businesses, right? So really just being your marketing strategist and executing anything social and digital for you.
No, and I love that because, it's like, especially me as a developer, if a company comes and they want to, launch a successful app, one of the biggest pieces of that is the marketing. So, I always say if you're going to spend 50 grand to develop an app, you're going to need another 50 at least to market it. A lot of people think, hey, I launched it. Awesome. We're ready to go. Money's going to start pouring in. It's like, no, you need to market it and you need a plan. You need an upfront plan. And I like what you said there about, defining what the goal is right up front. Exactly. How many clicks a day do you want? How many sales a day do you want?
Man, it all goes back to attention. It's the reason that they the app isn't successful after it's built isn't because it was built poorly. It's because nobody knows about it. There's no attention on it. It's the same thing. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to quit my job at the bank and go start this business. And I'm going to be able to replace my paycheck in the first year. Well, you're not, because nobody knows who you are yet. So when I say attention equals dollars, that's what I mean. If the more people that know me, the more money I'm going to make. Right. So that's why social media is so important. That's why having an app for your company is important, because it's another way to get known.
So let's talk about attention now, because you're doing this show, and I'm very intrigued by this. You're actually showing people your business process now, right? What's it? Inside Impact? Is that the name of the show?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, give everybody out there kind of an idea of the idea about why you created it, and obviously what you're trying to like get out of showing us what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally, it's what it sounds like. It's an inside look at my company, Impakt Media. And we get asked a lot, so what do you guys actually do? And people don't understand, the effort that goes into meeting with clients to make sure that they're happy, that they're satisfied. What is my marketing team, my chief marketing officer, our web developers, our social media managers, our video producers? What does an onboarding meeting with a client look like? What is an onboarding meeting? Why is it important? How do we optimize campaigns? It's not just the fact that we push a button and then they launch and then they just do their thing. It's a matter of there's people working on these campaigns at all times. So it's an inside look at my company, what we're doing to grow, what we're doing to help our clients. And people have found it interesting because it's me traveling around the country speaking. It's me working with clients. It's looking at a strategy meeting between, a big fast food brand that everybody in the world has eaten at one point or another. It's really exciting things like that people don't get a chance to see. And when you see it, it clicks and it makes sense. And the reason that we do it, the big reason, I want you to know me, like me, and trust me. And I want you to think of me before you think of any of my competitors. Because if you do all of those things, I'm going to get the first crack at your business as opposed to my competitor who's probably going to lose to me.
Yeah. And I love that. And here's the other thing that I really love and I want to get your thoughts on. So one of the things I notice, slowly you're starting to show me your team. And I've been talking to people about this kind of at a higher level. When they show their business, I'm like, hey, it's cool that you're talking and everything, but ultimately when you come on board with me, you might be working with Ray, or you might be working with Tim, and it's important that those guys have something as well. Right. That's why those the two girls that were doing I think they're doing like Adobe Spark or something like that. I was like, wait a second, this is cool. I'm actually, I see you out in front all the time, but now I actually see the people behind the scenes that I might be working with on a day-to-day basis. It's so important.
That's exactly right. And people miss that. And here's the thing. You don't have to have a videographer that follows you around with a camera and a team of editors that show that. Man, pull out your phone and do a Facebook Live of your team. If there's 5 people on your team and I'm going to be working with John, Shirley, and Janet, then show me John, Shirley, and Janet and let me meet them, because that's who I need to know them, like them, trust them. And if I do, I know your team as opposed to your competitor. I don't know them. I just see their ad that doesn't speak to me. It speaks at me and doesn't resonate with me. So we've gotten a lot from that, to where people meet Christina, they meet Lacey, they meet George, and the other folks on the team, and they get to know them, and they feel like they know them before they even call me to potentially do business with them.
Yeah, man. Thanks for putting it out there, because and again, if you're listening, check it out. Check out Luke's show, because he's actually showing his day-to-day grind of what he's doing, and then sometimes you go home at night and I see on Instagram and you're still going. So it's cool. It's cool to see you out there, man, to see you doing it. Cool. So let's wrap it up a little bit.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for being on the show, number one. Number two, where can people find you? How can people get in touch with you? And put it out there for them.
Yeah, really, any of the social media sites, if you look up my name, Luke Nesler, it's Nesler. On Instagram, it's Luke Nesler, CEO. But, man, we put out a ton of content. You will not get advertised to on any of my social networks. We're going to teach you. We're going to show you an inside look at what we do. We do trainings, webinars, and it's informational content. So my biggest platforms are Facebook, Instagram. I put a lot on LinkedIn as well, and YouTube. Those are the big platforms. And then thinkimpakt.com is the website. It's thinkimpakt.com. You can see more of the work that we've done, some case studies. There's some informational content on there as well. And then the training course is impactmarketingacademy.com. And there's some good information on there as well for you. So any of those platforms. And then if anybody has any questions or needs help or is inspired by anything they heard today, send me a DM on Instagram or Facebook. I always respond to those and would love to talk.
Cool. And I'm gonna just put a PS question on there because you said it. Any luck that you're having on LinkedIn? What's going on LinkedIn? Anything happening there?
Yeah, it's all about knowing how to use LinkedIn. First off, if you're in the business-to-business space, you should be on LinkedIn. The mistake is I'll use realtors. Well, they're not selling to somebody that's in the business-to-business space. They're selling to, Janessa, who just got married and wants to buy a home. Well, she's on Instagram all the time. So LinkedIn is not very good for realtors. But if I need to learn everything about Jeremy Callahan before I hop on a meeting with him and I find out he went to this school, he was involved in this charity, he used to work for this company, that's ammo that I can use in a meeting. Likewise, if I want to find every realtor, because it's my ideal prospect, if I want to find every realtor that graduated from West Virginia University, which is where I went, in the state, in the country, or in the world, I can find them. And then I have something in common with them. So when I reach out to them, I can say, hey, Janet, I see that you went to WVU and you're a realtor in Las Vegas. Nice to meet you. I work with realtors and I graduated from WVU. We should have a conversation sometime. Little things like that help me really, really, really drive a lot of results. It's just about knowing how to use LinkedIn. But it is a valuable platform for sure. Yeah,
I've had some good luck on that platform, particularly with my stuff because it's very knowledge heavy. You know what I mean? It's not, it doesn't.
Yours is big
to Instagram or whatever. Okay. Anyways, Luke, 100% thanks for being on the show. For everybody else out there, I hope they got really good value in knowing the value you can provide, not just on Instagram and Facebook, but LinkedIn. Luke's going to come in. He's going to learn your business. He's going to set specific goals that they can achieve, and he's going to help you get to the next level. Thanks for joining the App or Not to App podcast. I'm Jeremy Callahan. You can find me at jeremycallahan.com and all over the internet. Just type me in. I'm easy to find, just like Luke. And thanks for being on the show today, Luke. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.